For some time, I've had a fetish for frilly aprons. Someday I'll make one. This project is practice for that. Hi, I'm Agnes. I like fashion, I like sewing, I like creating, I like a challenge. And I've decided to make a 1940s styles pinafore dress. What's a pinafore dress, you ask? It's a sleeveless dress, usually worn over a shirt. Let's head over to my Pinterest board to see what I have in mind. So these are mostly from the 1940s, but there are some other eras mixed in. But they all have the same kind of construction and vibe. It's a really fun pin board. If looking at this does not where you want to wear a dress every day, I don't know what will. So I have some from the 50s where the skirts were fuller, and the 60s where they still wore the petticoats. My mom remembers that with fondness. But the skirts tended to have a more of a bell shape. They looked like they were constructed out of rectangles as opposed to being A-lines or circle skirts. It's interesting to note that in the 1970s, this style with the ruffles, it just came straight back. As is, I have a dress that I got as a child from a cousin from the 1970s. It's just one of those. And then there's another one I got from my mom that is a more grown-up version of that, but is constructed the same way. As an aside, I've included this here. This one, judging from the models and the style, might be from the 1970s. It was not labeled. And I put it there because it's got, again, the same similar shapes. Like I said, big comeback in the 1970s of those types of dresses. But I like this one and that one with the contrasting bodice. I also have one of these passed down from my mom. But that particular dress got too worn. And so now that I did this board, I'm thinking about I should make another one. Maybe that would be my next project. Here are the design elements that I want to include in my pinafore dress. First, I want to make it a wrap dress. So unlike an apron, I need the back to be completely closed. On the left, there is the original, like the first thing I saw that inspired this idea of actually making a pinafore dress. And the design element I really like on this one is the front piece that goes from the waist to right under the chest. However, I'm not sold on the one-piece version of it that covers the chest, and what I would like to do for this one is something closer to what's on the right, where it's a crisscross bodice. I envision that to not to be too difficult to design. Another design element is to have the straps to cross in the back. So this is what's shown in the little thing in the corner. Overall, the aprons, or I guess dresses shown here kind of also have all that same vibe and the same kind of design. But from this one, I'm essentially taking the idea of the cross straps in the back. I'm envisioning buttons somewhere so that those can be either crossed or not crossed. Maybe if I wear my pinafore dress over a heavier top, maybe in winter time or when it's colder, I can adjust the dress this way. Also, I'm really sold on the pockets, so I will put pockets. And I want them to be, I'm not, a lot of those had ruffles, but mine isn't. It doesn't go with this is a trial I'm not making this one cute. It's going to be more simple. The fabric I have actually would probably look great if I used it to make a men's shirt. It is not a very feminine fabric, so I think we'll do away with the ruffles. And finally, there is the shape of the skirt to decide. So here's the one on the left with those ruffles that I'm not going to put in. So it's a little tough to judge from pictures, but when the dress has a pattern like stripes or squares, you can see seams and you can see that it's a little on the bias. So those are definitely made out of more than one piece of fabric. They're gored. And by doing some more reading, I found that those were A-lines that they did in the 1940s. Early, they were more straight A-lines, and then later they became more and more full as we moved away from the war. During the war, the fabric was rationed, so you couldn't. The skirts were shorter, and they were not as wide. So from the one on the left is a pure A-line. The one on the right has some gathering at the waist. So I call that a gathered A-line, and that's the one I am leaning towards.